right, so I'm trying something out a little bit different tonight, mainly because I'm just too tired and lazy to go and get everything set up. So I'm just going to sit my ass down and we're going to talk about this article here. Something I found kind of interesting because it seems like DC is going to go and possibly repeat some of the past mistakes that Marvel made back in the 90s, which is kind of interesting. Okay, so before we go and get into this article, if you're new to the channel and you like this content, make sure to go and subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Also, I'd like to point out that pixelnation.io is now live. You should go and check that out right now. Currently, it's just an archive of some of my live streams and all the current content. And at some point in time, I'm going to be getting forums going within the next couple of weeks. So stop by, check it out, and yeah, that's basically it. So now let's get into the article. So the title of the article is "Remember When Marvel Had Multiple Editors-in-Chief?" This is coming from Rich Johnson at Bleeding Stool. Hi, Rich, if you come across this. After a tumultuous week, DC has just appointed Marie Jarvis and Michelle Wells as interim editors-in-chiefs, or editors-in-chief. I'm not sure which is the correct term, and neither am I, and quite frankly, I really don't care. And while this may be the first time that DC Comics has had multiple editors-in-chief, Marvel has been there and done that. So back in 1994, Tom DeFalco was editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics. And then in a bizarre publisher shakeup, which was pretty common at the time, Tom DeFalco was removed and Marvel named 5 individuals as the new editors-in-chief. Each with their own fiefdom to manage. Bob Harras. So Bob Harras was the editor-in-chief over at DC who got let go recently. So that's kind of funny considering that, he's being brought up here. So you can see that some of these people, they've been kind of all over the industry. So there's been a lot of trading between DC and Marvel over the years. So Bob Harras was the editor-in-chief of the X-Men books. Bob Budusky, God, I'm probably getting that completely wrong, editor-in-chief of the Spider-Man books. Mark Grunwald was editor-in-chief of the rest of the Avengers Marvel Hero line. And Carl Potts was editor-in-chief of the licensed books, Epic Comics, and alternate verse books. And Bobby Chase, who was also let go from DC, was editor-in-chief of the old Marvel Edge line. In effect, each team started competing with one another for talent, for promotions, and characters, and intermittent rivalry within the publisher, the likes which has never been seen before. Also around that time, Marvel Comics left Diamond Comics distributor, which is basically kind of what we see now, what's been going on at DC. They have left Diamond to go and do their own distribution to the local comic book shop. So this is some really interesting parallels that are going on here. Also around that time, Marvel Comics left Diamond Comics distributors, Capital Distribution, and others to set up its own comic distribution system to the direct market through a distributor that it had bought, Heroes World, called Marvolution. Oh man, that's terrible. Marvolution. Everything tanked. Go figure. Comic books were canceled. Many staff were made redundant. Called the Marvelcution. Oh man, this is fantastic. The industry folded in on itself. Marvel went back to Diamond with their tail between their legs, and Bob Harras became the sole editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics. I find this kind of interesting because I think we're going to see a lot of history repeating itself, because I get the feeling that this distribution that they're kind of setting up at some point is going to fail, and they may go back to diamond, provided that they actually are providing the floppies still. I mean, there's this big push for digital, and I guess they could go back to diamond if they're going to be distributing more of the graphic novels. So it depends on what's going on here. And a lot of those graphic novels can come in the form of the YA stuff that's being pushed by one of the editors-in-chief. So it's going to be an interesting time for DC. And it's probably going to be death of the monthly comic floppy that we're used to. It's probably just going to go straight digital, which makes sense because they have the ability to go and make more money that way. There's no printing costs, and so they have very limited runs on what physical media you can go and pick up. So it should be interesting to see how that kind of plays out. It does seem rather ironic that Bob Harras is now being laid off as editor-in-chief of DC Comics and is replaced by multiple editors-in-chiefs. God, I hate the way that sounds. Multiple editors-in-chief actually sounds a lot better, Rich. Just throwing that out there. All at a time where DC Comics has left Diamond Comics distributors and is pursuing its own distribution plan with 2 new distributors it has set up, and is now going through a rapid reduction in titles and staff. And I talked about both of these in some of my previous videos. If you haven't seen those, go and check it out. Maria Jarvis will remember this well. She was a Marvel editor at the time, working under Bobby Chase's Marvel Edge editor in chiefship. God, seriously. And yes, Bobby Chase has... Wow, you made it all the way to the end of the video. Well, if you could do me a huge favor while you're here, if you're new to the channel, go and click that subscribe button. Bash that bell for instant notifications. And Hulk. Smash that like button if you enjoyed this video. I even have a P.O. box if you want to go and send me some fan mail. And yes, I finally have received some. Figured I should probably go and update that just because, it's been some time. Well, I've finally done it. I've gone and launched my new website, so go and head over to pixelnation.io. There you'll be able to find all of my current videos, even some past live streams, as well as the thought of the day, week, or month, depending on when I actually get around to writing something. Also, in the next couple weeks, I'll be launching my new forums, so keep an eye out for that. I would love to give a huge shout out to all my Subscribe Star supporters, because without you, I'd still be making content. But in all seriousness, I do appreciate your support and your help. And I would like to give a huge shout out to my big spenders, Toxic Manflu and MarjieSmiles, and ArthurPotatoeHammer for supporting me at the Take My Money Damn It tier. Thank you very much. You 3 are awesome.